We had an action out on the solstice day at the confluence of the Mississippi rivers. We had to drive across pipelines. They're all over the place out there. They're everywhere, but they don't maintain them. That's why they leak all the time. This very company has a horrible record. They just had a couple 100 miles away from DAPL, just had another pipe break. It's too much. Now today I just saw an article this morning that said there are now more people employed doing clean energy, solar energy, than there are. One of the big lies is that this is about employment. It would employ a few people to construct the pipeline, but just a few afterwards to maintain it if it went through. We're going to try and do everything we can to stop that. But it's quite a struggle. But we're not without hope. We know there was this executive order about DAPL and about Keystone. We do know about DAPL, and I want everyone to do this. I think everybody saw on the Facebook page, but we'll widely spread this. I know some of you have done it already. The Corps of Engineers listened to us, and they actually filed the paperwork before the administration changed for the environmental impact statement. It's in the Federal Register. So right now they've opened the comment time. And so for us, each and every one of us should send a comment about the impact for us, the river, the environment. And so you can submit your own comments on the environmental impact statement to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. It's a limited time to do that. I think it's about a month. But that's one of the actions that you can take. You can actually do that. And so I want to encourage, how many people will do that? We'll look it up and try and do it.
We'll do it again.
And the other issue is about divestment. Most of you saw this, but oh my. Donald Trump owns stake in hotly disputed $3.8 billion oil pipeline. Conflict of interest looms.
Fuck Donald Trump!
No, thank you. So he actually divested some of his money because he's been attacked in the news media for doing that. And that's what Jake is going to talk a little bit about divestment, how we can do that as individuals and any organization you're taking part in. There's a new movement across this country about not-for-profits and pension funds and how they've invested their money and what we can do to divest from the companies that invest in this pipeline and Keystone. Oh, and one more thing from me, and then I'll be quiet. Do you know where this oil is destined for?
China.
China! How does it make any sense? It's insane. It's insane. The Keystone pipeline would come from Canada. Now, isn't it interesting that Canadians don't want the pipeline to go to Vancouver? Why is that? Because they know better. They'd rather put us at risk and our rivers. And I don't mean that to be geographically territorial. I mean, it's wrong.
The employment that Trump is saying the pipeline will provide over so many years while the construction is going on, that is just temporary employment. It is not long-term employment. Our country needs long-term employment, not temporary employment. Trump needs to understand that.
So Jacob's going to talk a little bit about divestment and whatever else he wants to talk about. But welcome Jacob Bear. He's the son of a prominent activist in this area, Richard Bear. And I worked with Richard a lot on the big mountain issues out in Arizona where Peabody coal has just ravaged the land. So this time we have a chance to stop this.
Hello, my name is Jacob Bear. Nice to meet you all. Thank you again for coming out. I am an Anishinaabe. My tribe is located in Red Cliff, Wisconsin, right on the banks of Lake Superior in northern Wisconsin. Divestment for me is closing your bank accounts. The two main banks we have here in St. Louis that are funding the Dakota Access Pipeline are U.S. Bank and Bank of America. The U.S. Bank
and Bank of America are two of the main funders in St. Louis.
Go to defundapple.org. It'll tell you all of the banks that are in the pipeline.
Step up with your sign, please.
Yeah, there's a list of all of the banks that are funding Dakota Access Pipeline at this website, defundapple.org. There is also numerous other posts and links you can follow to find those banks as well. But in doing so, let's remember to remind these banks to begin investing in more clean energy, to start divesting themselves from this fossil fuel industry and from these dirty ways. Divestment can come in many ways. A lot of people have been posting it. I just urge you to be careful. Certain banks do not allow recording or certain devices on their property. So definitely be careful if you plan on doing a divestment journal or post. Being from Red Cliff, our tribe still practices heavily the harvesting of the wild rice on Lake Superior. And while it's not affected by the lake or by the river that's in contrast, they are still fighting their own battles up there as well. So just remind everybody that this isn't just about DAPL. This is about many projects around this nation and around the globe, really. I've met people from all across the country, Australia, India, France, all of which are still going through their own local struggles. So that's part of the mission and part of our job is when we leave Standing Rock to be ambassadors and to spread this word. So I encourage all of you to do the same, become allies, spread peace, and together in prayer we will end this pipeline. Keystone XL is down the road. Dakota Access Pipeline is where we need to focus on right now with divestment and urging the Army Corps of Engineers to complete the environmental impact statement and not to listen to the wishes of President Trump in fast tracking these permits and fast tracking this pipeline. As you know, pipelines are already built to fail. They are the most efficient at failing. And Trump would also want to deregulate all of these regulations that are built to make these pipelines more safer, which are already not working. So we must step in, we must take a stand, and the best way we can do that right now is by divestment, is by reaching out to the local Army Corps of Engineers office, signing those petitions, and reminding everyone how important this environmental impact statement is and to actually complete it the correct way. Because if it is done the correct way, they will see over 380 sites are in jeopardy or have already been destroyed in Standing Rock alone. Now is the time before more are destroyed. I think I don't have anything else to say. If anybody else has been up there, wants to share their experience.
Anyone who's been to Standing Rock is welcome to speak.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
My name is Cassie. I went to Standing Rock in August. So I went to Sacred Stone Camp. There were probably less than 50 people there when I was there. When I was there, because there was the group was so small and people were just starting to really come, the call had just been made, I got to sit around the fire and hear the elders speak. And I will say that there's been a lot of people saying that there's, the stuff going on at Standing Rock now is gotten away from what the elders intended, and that may be the case with all the social movements. They're messy, and they're not perfect, and we're not perfect people coming together to do what we need to do. But I will say that I felt, and I know that that is where the movement is coming from, is this deep care and knowing for life on this planet. I know that some of my friends, they are a little bit uncomfortable with the word prayer. And I think I myself have had a long journey of being able to come to prayer. But there is also another way to think about it, the energy that we can think about it in pure science. The science is in now. We're all connected. Everything is flowing together. The Earth is one system. That is the reality where we're at now. The bombs are not over there. The pollution is not over there. It's all in here. And so I just encourage you, whatever way that you can connect to that, whether it's prayer, whether it's energy, whether it's meditation, do that work. That's real work. And connect with your brothers and sisters, because we really are. We're all in here on Earth Island, and we're at a turning point. And I really believe that, I believe in the good things coming. I believe that this is the time for us. We've had a long history of hurting and bullshit going on, and now is the time for us to come together and stand up together. So thank you all.
Hello. Testing 1, 2. Does that work? Yeah. Yeah. I think we should make another turn or two around this building, get a little exercise, make sure we're staying warm. Yes, you can. Yes. There are 2 calls for action and one big one beyond that. But number 1 is please respond to the EIS, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We're asking everyone to do that. It's a limited time. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has done the right thing this time, and it's been filed in the Federal Register. The executive order may not mean much. It may not mean much. There's a process they have to go through. There's still a rule of law in this country, still. It doesn't always favor us, but we have a chance. So please put your comments on the EIS process. And if you have any background in biology or environmental science, especially respond. But one of the things we want to talk about with that is treaty rights and tribal sovereignty. These are independent, autonomous nations, and they're trying to ignore treaties that go back to the 19th century. We're talking about George Armstrong Custer days. They want to get rid of those treaties. We know that they trashed one of the cultural sites and disturbed a graveyard not far from Dapple. And there's been some confusion even online about where the pipeline is. If you're there at the protest, you go to the protest and the pipeline is right up here on the steps, right? It's close by to one of the frontline camps. It's not far away. It was traditionally the Standing Rock